All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming Tonic. I'm joined here
What
today,
up?
as always, by my wonderful co-host.
Devin Kronk. How's it going, guys? Welcome in another Sunday.
Well,
It's been quite the week, hasn't it?
Sunday for them when they're listening to the
Oh
podcast
yeah,
online.
yeah.
Saturday today.
Sunday for listeners. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, all good, all good. But what have you been up to this week, man? How you been doing?
um, Good. It's been a good week. I've been playing games, playing a lot of Valorant recently. And then on Friday I did the typing race for VIP that you showed up for and smoked me in. The only one who beat
One,
me, by the
one,
way.
one round. I mean,
One round.
I had one round where I was like, "All right, let's do this," and I was in there, and it was very fun. But
It was cool.
I can
How
I
about you,
can
man?
I can hit a good words per minute every now and then when things are going my way, but occasionally, I
He got over 100 and then he was like, I'm cashing out. I'm done now."
yeah, yeah. The next round I got like 84, which is way worse. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. Had to defend my VIP. He was handing out VIPs in his chat for the like typing race, I guess, if they could beat him. So had to do it at least one time.
You solidified it until next time.
Yep. Yep, until I get my permanent VIP badge for 100K, I'm on the way. I'm at like 66,000 or something like that channel points, and it's 100,000. So
I'm genuinely curious who's gonna get it first. Like, there's a few of you that are all around the same right now.
yeah, yeah. Lady Biscuit in the chat also said, "Welcome back, thank you." Yeah, I took last night off stream, just because Erica's on spring break this week, so I've been doing
Oh yeah, I saw
doing
that.
a lot of gaming stuff. Outriders came out this week, obviously, so there's a fair bit of like hype around anytime there's a new game release or something like that, where we're just like, okay, gotta grind out a few hours on it, like
Yeah.
lose a little bit of sleep here, have a good time, play some video games, that sort of thing. So it was cool, but like wanted to make sure I took a little bit of time, and I was like, okay, gonna spend this time with Erica, hang out with my wife a little bit, kind of just enjoy the time before she goes back to work, because it's easy for me to be like, being like full-time content creation and stuff like that now, be like, oh, I'll just do whatever whenever, because I have
Yeah.
the time, but the rest of the world's still working, so it is what
Nothing
it
wrong
is.
with the day off to rest the mind, spend time with loved ones, things like that.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah. It's healthy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, very healthy.
and I think that's something that a lot of like people who are trying to really get their content creation kicked off and grow on, don't realize is how important it is to like take a second and not burn out. Take a step away from the game you usually play.
Yeah.
I mean, I streamed Outriders one day this week, and obviously, you're never gonna see as many people come through, like playing an off game that's different from what you typically play. I mean, even you as a variety streamer, I mean, I'm sure that you see people who are like, oh, he's playing Smash, I'm there today, who wouldn't be there when you're playing something like Gang Beasts, maybe, like, and it's, like whenever you cross bridges like that, there's always like a little bit of fall off, but at the same time, for your mental health.
Yeah.
Just for your mental health, being able to be like, I'm gonna do something different today.
You got to do what you want.
And it is what it is.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those mental health days are super important. Keeps you from burning out and all that other nasty stuff that people don't want to talk about when it comes to streaming.
Exactly. Yeah, they really don't. Pina Colada said, imagine being as thick as Vince. Hey, it happens. It happens. I'm saying I can't.
I couldn't imagine.
There we go. All right. So news for this week, man. I mean, it's been a busy week. We were looking through our news sources and browsing Reddit for like all the top stuff that happened last week, and like just looking at everything that's been going on in the gaming world. And it's been a busy one, dude. It's been a little bit busy.
I was scrolling.
Yeah.
But we got some good stuff here today.
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest one, something we already kind of touched on, is that like Outriders came out this week. It released on April 1st. It's not a joke. It actually happened. And it's cool. I mean, personally, like I think it's awesome. I've been really enjoying Outriders. I think it's been a lot of fun. I've played it with a couple of different people now, and actually played it on stream, like I mentioned, with 2 other people. And I think that it's kind of refreshing that their stance on this game is like, we don't want this to be a games as a service type deal. We don't want this to be something that you're playing forever. It is a looter shooter, so obviously there is the RPG grind too. That's also happening inside of Outriders, but we want there to be a stopping point. We don't want this to be something that you do endlessly, that you feel like you constantly have to log in for and be coming back to. We just want this to be the sort of thing where you play through it, you find the awesome gear, you enjoy the awesome gear, you blow up monsters, and you have a good time. and that's it. And I think that that's kind of a refreshing take that we haven't seen in a long time in the gaming world.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are taking the live service route right now, so definitely is something new. I actually didn't even know that this game came out until I opened Steam yesterday and saw it, like, on the front page of the store. I was like, "Oh, snap, that's here." But, I heard that the servers were a little interesting, a little
Yeah,
scuffed, if you will.
yeah, absolutely. And like the thing is, it's a new release game during, I mean, technically, stuff is starting to open back up again, but COVID hours,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and we use the term COVID hours pretty regularly on this podcast, kind of as a description for things that are the way that they are specifically right now because of COVID. And game releases were hyped before, but now there is so many more people who are starved for things to do because they have all this free time that they've never had. You know,
Right.
like the amount of people who have the free time to finish all those games in their backlog now versus 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's a massive difference.
It
You know,
is.
so they
Truly.
want anything and everything, especially with all the game releases that have been getting delayed, which we'll be talking a little bit about that in the news later too. So, I mean, server issues going to happen. It's
Yeah.
an
I
online only
mean,
game, which sucks, but it's kind of
COVID out
inevitable.
yeah, right. COVID hours aside, I feel like a lot of games still struggled with that, Just day 1, April Fools, it's been out for about 3 days now, 2 days, so,
Yeah,
like, it I'll cut it cut some slack for a little bit here. I give it, like, a week to get off the ground, 2 weeks maybe.
yeah,
I think they'll
absolutely.
have it handled by then.
I actually think so too. And Bizarre Buddha said in the chat that makes me want to get it now. I'm assuming that's what he meant instead of want to tier it now. Tier
Want
is
to
a god
tier
in
it.
Smite, not in action.
Want to tier
But
it.
like it's an awesome game, and if you like looter shooters, you probably should get this game because it's a lot of fun. Honestly, like $60 is kind of a steep price tag, but from what I've seen of the game so far, like and how much I actually want to play all 4 classes that there is in the game, I mean, I'm gonna get at least 100 hours out of this game for sure. I think I've already put. I
Dang,
mean,
okay.
I can check my Steam library right now to see how much time I put into it already. Um, Outriders. I've already put 17 hours into the game. So I mean, and I mean, I feel like I haven't scratched the surface. Like I'm about to make a new character
Whoa!
again after I get off the podcast, so that I can play it with another buddy who just got the game and is going to start playing it. Like, and I'm starting over at level 1. I hit level. I think I'm like level 19 or something like that on my main character. I'm playing a pyromancer, and it's a lot of fun. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
that's
super
that's
cool.
cool.
So like there is so much stuff to do in this game, and it's awesome. And something else I wanted to touch on was Lady Bisky said nowhere near as bad as Diablo 3 server launch. I actually think they did a great job, and I agree. It wasn't nearly as bad as like a World of Warcraft expansion release, or like she said Diablo 3, or a lot of the other debacles we've seen. And they actually put out a message saying, hey, this is what we're doing with the servers, because there was one point where login servers kind of died like completely yesterday, a day after release actually.
No.
And they were like, hey, we're looking into this and we're working on it. About like 20 minutes after the servers like died, and they were like, okay, so they took everything down. And then about 40 minutes after that, they released a statement saying, okay, so basically we're doing like what is essentially the mother of all, like turn it off and turn it back on again type
Yeah.
situation, and we're taking everything completely offline, and then we're going to restart it, and then it should be back up within an hour. And within an hour, it was working.
And it worked, yeah.
It was working. And I mean, these guys have been active on Reddit answering questions. They have been active on Twitter responding to random Twitter questions, complaints, everything like that, being like, hey, we're glad you're trying our game. This is a launch of an online game, so there's going to be some issues, but stick with us. We're working on it. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, since their last beta, these guys have been the most, like, open communicating wise, like, after the launch of a game that I think I've seen.
That's
Like
good.
the way that these guys is handling PR is how I expected BioWare to continue handling PR after the release of Anthem. But before the release of Anthem, BioWare was doing like a really knockout job at
Right.
communicating with the community, and then they just all vanished as soon as Anthem actually came out. They were like, "Oh God, don't look at
Uh-oh.
us."
Yeah, yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah. But I think these guys are a lot more comfortable with it because they saw they released a product that they could be proud of, and it's an awesome game, and there's a lot of fun to be had for sure. So,
That's cool.
Outriders came out on April 1st. It's on everything. If you are a Game Pass subscriber on Xbox or Xbox Series X, you get it for free day one. So why not try it if you got an Xbox and Game Pass? So that's pretty cool.
Why not? Now I
So
wish I had an Xbox and a Game Pass.
yeah, no kidding. Same as someone who had to get it for full price. Yeah, I
Yeah.
when I was like Game Pass console only. Okay, well it happens. It'd
That
be
would have
that
been
way
so
sometime.
hype if it was just on Game Pass for PC too.
Yeah, strongly
Might have
agree.
gotten Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean
Might
$60
have.
game day one for free. That's a good deal.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat that. So, an article from InputMag.com stated that CD Projekt Red is going to start developing multiple games at the same time moving forward. Um, kind of like how they had to announce, hey, okay, we're finally done with all the stuff we wanted to do with the Witcher 3 expansions. Now we're working on Cyberpunk, you know? And they always had part of their team working on Cyberpunk, kind of. But now they're, they're going to be doing both parallel. And this kind of coincides with an announcement that they made that they actually purchased a development studio that was, I think, yeah, Digital Scapes, who actually helped with the development of Cyberpunk 2077. And they're based out of Canada. So, they're acquiring more development talent, more studios, things like that, so that they can do more stuff at the same time. And I mean,
Good.
why not buy up the studio that you already know helps you work on another game? Makes sense to me,
Yeah,
you know?
that's cool. I I think that's interesting that they want to move on with multiple games at once. I guess it makes sense if they're acquiring new studios and stuff, but like I feel like they kind of botched their last big game and that
Yeah,
was only the only game they were working on. So now they're going to do more of them, create more work for themselves and they couldn't even complete like fully finish the one game that they were working on for years.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. No
Kind of
kidding.
weird.
Yeah. Also, little chillin'. Thank you for the follow. We appreciate it, and we're glad you're
Thanks.
here. But I mean, and alongside this announcement, they also released another patch for Cyberpunk this week that you mentioned had like a couple hundred fixes or
Yeah.
something like that in it, changes, things that are happening in the game still. I
But
mean,
I also saw on the Reddit news after a little earlier in the news it said um that people are still reporting game breaking bugs and
hmm.
all kinds of stuff even though I believe it was upwards of 500 bug fixes and they added ray tracing or something.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think that was an article from Polygon that was like showcasing like bug showcases and everything like that, and
Yeah.
it was like, it's a mess, dude. It's a mess. It's a beautiful game, but
Yeah.
it's a disaster, honestly. Like, and not just on the bugs end, like technical and like performance wise too. It's a disaster, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of
that's
stuff going on, and it's beautiful, but man, it
kind
ain't
of
great for the
kind
old
of botched
consoles.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. That might light your PS4 on fire or something. Be careful with that one.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So it's good to see CD Projekt Red acquiring more talent. Hopefully, if they have more developers under their wing, then it's not as much crunch on the employees that are currently there or will be there in the future, and they can kind of disperse a little bit of that payload out to other areas, other
I'm
avenues.
sure they have some type of plan that'll make it work, but you know, I feel like trust in the brand is a bit low right now.
Yeah.
We'll have to see where they take that moving forward.
Well, and Little Chillin said yes, Cyberpunk was a train wreck, and yeah, that's kind of the gist of it right there.
Yep.
Boiled down into one sentence, I think we found it. But as far as like where it's going in the future, they did announce that they're coming out with a next gen upgrade for The Witcher in the second half of 2021. So that's where it's going next, and I think that
Yeah.
realistically, it's like, oh, another Witcher 3 re-release, and cool.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I don't know.
I mean, this is gonna have to be some like mind blowing next gen upgrade for it to be any kind of significant enough for the community to be like, okay, we're back on board now.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the bug fixes that they've been putting out have been awesome, but again, the game being in the state that it's in this long after launch, I mean, this game could have used another year in the oven,
Yeah, definitely.
easily, and it probably should have. But
That's a
up
whole other can of potatoes, man.
But I mean, we've seen games come back for more in the past.
True.
And I mean,
Yeah.
the next bit of news here, we're talking about No Man's Sky, and No Man's
Yeah.
Sky is was the launch disaster before
That's
Fallout 76,
that's the
obviously.
underdog right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was my first experience with pre-ordering a game and being like extremely disappointed. Is
really.
the that game's like the reason I don't pre-order games anymore.
Wow, that's a rough one right there.
It was, but it came back and it did great. And now I still own it and it's a pretty fun game if I ever feel like traveling through space.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's getting some incredible updates. I mean, it got the multiplayer that they promised they were going to have on launch, so it took them a little while to gain that traction and get the Steam, but it's here now, and it's really freaking cool. And the new update is called Expeditions, and it launched this week. And pretty much what you can do is there'll be like an expedition that goes on inside of the game. So you and all the other people in your shard or whatever, like whoever's online in the multiplayer universe right then, they go to a set destination. You start the expedition at this destination, and there will constantly be new people starting the expedition and going to these different, areas. And there'll be milestones that you have to get to all throughout the map. And as you go to these milestones, you have certain things that you have to do, missions you have to accomplish in varying difficulty, and it doesn't matter what order you go in, as long as you do them all. And if you do them all, then you get like unique cosmetic stuff or rewards inside of the game, whatever it is that their reward system is. And I think that's neat. It's a cool way to get the community out there and to get people kind of in the same areas, so it feels like a little bit more of a living world,
Right. And that was my biggest issue with the game, was when it came out, they had marketed it as this like game where you can just go out and run into random people throughout the universe, and it turned out you couldn't do that. That was a complete lie initially, and I still don't even think you can do that unless you're like partied up or whatever. But anyway, this is cool. Like, just anything they add multiplayer in No Man's Sky, I'm here for, because that was what I wanted to experience in the first place. So it's cool. Expeditions. Let's go.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of specifically like game delays and games that probably could have used more time in the oven, we've already discussed the, Cyberpunk 2077. We've discussed No Man's Sky that definitely could have used a little bit more time. But there have been quite a few games delayed in 2021 so far. And
COVID hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've been talking about this since last year, since COVID kicked off. I mean, it's kind of an inevitability, is that stuff is going to be getting delayed just because it's harder to get everyone on the same page development wise when you're working on any title of, any size, Right. I mean, indie RPG maker games are going to be getting delayed from what they probably would have expected to release them, just because it's hard to coordinate, that many people or any amount of people in an environment where not everyone can be in the office working on something together, all at the same time, similar, mindset inside of a workspace. I mean, just like, for you, when you transition from, like work to working at home, it probably took you a little bit of time to get used to being as diligent as you need to be to get what you need done, versus being in an environment where you're only there to work.
Yeah, you got to be a real self-starter.
Yeah.
And some people don't have it. It happens.
I mean, for me, I talk to people all the time who they're like, it's so much easier to work in a workplace, or to study in a library, or to get my homework done in a classroom or something like that, as opposed to at home where there's all the distractions. I mean, it makes sense.
It does. And it shows in these delays here. What do we got on the list? There's Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, Gran Turismo 7, Lord of the Rings Gollum, Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, Hogwarts Legacy, Dying Light 2, Back for Blood, and A New World.
Yeah.
All confirmed delayed.
And I mean, the list is a little bit bigger than this. It was a list that came up on GameSpot. Just a heads up for anyone who wants to go look at the full list of games. There were a couple of other ones on there that were a little more, obscure. Kena Bridge of Spirits, I think, was another one that was on there. And that's kind of a big game release, but like it's 50-50, and a few other smaller releases as well. But the one that really stings the most for me on this list is Hogwarts Legacy, because that's, I think, probably my most anticipated game at this point, interestingly enough.
That game I hope is really cool. Just as a Harry Potter fan, that would be really dope. I want it to be really cool. We talked about that a little bit ago, huh?
Yeah, when the announcement trailer came out, and then the like delay was originally announced. But
right.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. There's a lot of excitement for me in that game, and I mean, you could say that there's a little bit of excitement around games like Dying Light, Back for Blood, New World. One game that I think needed a delay because there is no excitement around it is Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the first I'd heard of this game.
So they announced that this game was happening, and I'm just like, who is the target audience here? Like,
you play as Gollum?
You play as Gollum. I have never, ever had a discussion with a Lord of the Rings fan and been like, who is your favorite character? And they're like, Gollum. Like not even one time has anyone been like, man, I just can't get enough of that guy. He's the greatest,
you know what want them to do. I want them to make a game where I can play as them.
Exactly.
Weird.
Yeah.
What do? You just chase the ring all like, is that
Yeah.
it's gonna
I
be like a
mean,
2D side scroller, you're just traversing caves trying to get to a ring at the end of the tunnel or something?
you know what I really want? I really want to play Lord of the Rings Scrawny Addict Edition. That's the part of the
Scrawny
universe
addict.
that I really want to get a hold of. That sounds wonderful.
Screw
No.
that Gandalf guy,
Yeah.
Saruman, get him out of here. All those hobbits, whack, even though Gollum is a hobbit, but he's a skinny loser hobbit,
I mean,
and I wanna play as him.
imagine having all of the lore in the World of War, sorry, or in the Lord of the Rings universe, and like you could have gone dwarves, you could have gone
Yeah,
elves,
dude, like,
you could have, I mean, even hobbits. I would have played a hobbit drinking mobile game before I want to play Lord of the Rings Gollum. You
dang,
know what I mean?
it's bad. We're
It,
we're passing harsh judgment
who is the
already,
target
dude.
audience? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it might be a cool stealth game or something like that, but like, I haven't heard anybody be excited about this. Like, every single like Reddit thread, news post, comment section, anything I've seen, it's like, why?
Why?
Or like, legitimately, why? And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It ain't for me. It ain't for me.
I'm with you. That's an interesting one. I'm
Yeah.
not buying it.
It like the hype surrounding this game, as far as I can tell, is so low that it wouldn't surprise me to see it get canceled. And
Dang.
unfortunate, like
They should just make a third Shadow of Mordor game.
yeah, no kidding.
That would be real cool. Next gen, Pog.
They should remaster those like PlayStation 2 games or whatever that were like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, where you just run around and just kill a bunch of orcs over and over again.
Dude, are you talking about the ones that were like Battlefront but Lord of the Rings? You
No,
remember
these
those?
were like top down. I,
Oh, yeah. I forgot the name of those, but I know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
Yep. Yeah, it was just Lord of the Rings, like Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. They did one for each of the movies. And they were total cash grab games, but you just run around and you kill orcs as Lord of the Rings characters, and it's kind of
No,
cool.
those were cool games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever play or see that? I can't remember what it's called. It was like literally Battlefront but reskinned as Lord of the Rings. It was so sick.
I did not play that.
Playing that. I think it was on PS3.
That's pretty cool. I
I'll
say.
look into it.
Yeah, look it up. I'd be curious to know
Yeah.
more. Little Shillin said it'd be cool if they showed the progress of him turning him into Gollum, but still kind of lame. But even still, like you showed that in one cutscene, like they did in the movie. Even in the movie that was intended to be 2.5 hours long, they legitimately showed that in one cutscene. You know, like that's not something
Yeah.
that would take a whole lot of time. Yeah. Like unless you're really going through the whole story of him like turning into Gollum and stuff like that. But I I don't know, man. I'm not sold on this game. That's Lord of the Rings Gollum coming out whenever it's unfortunately going to have to release. But it caught a delay this year, and I see why. I think they're going to have to do a lot of work to get people interested in this. Um,
Yeah, I agree. Oh, this game, by the way, it's called Lord of the Rings Conquest.
Conquest. I think I
Yeah,
heard the title, but I never got a chance to play it. Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. If they remade something like that, I would be stoked.
Yeah. I mean,
For those of you that know it.
at this point, I'm more excited for Back for Blood than I am
Yeah.
for Lord of the Rings Gollum, and I have no desire to buy Back for Blood. So, like, it's
Dang. It's
that's
just
where
not
we're
even a
at hype
thought in
wise.
Vince's mind. Yeah. He's
Pretty
just
much, pretty much. I'm actually
until
disappointed
now.
every time I see it come up because I think that there's so much potential in the Lord of the Rings universe that's just been untapped outside of the Shadow of War games.
Yeah.
And the Lord of the Rings MMO that's like way too outdated right now, even though it's really cool.
Yeah. I agree.
But
You're right. Really lacking in Lord of the Rings content.
really, I mean, it's been the
Bring it
Hobbit
back.
movies, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's been like the only good stuff recently besides Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Yeah.
So, an article from GameSpot though stated that PUBG Mobile was averaging 7.4 million in sales per day in 2020. Every single
Wow.
day. PUBG Mobile.
That's crazy.
That's
What do
actually
you
crazy.
buy in PUBG? Like it's clothes, right?
So like character clothing items, gun skins, battle passes, and
Battle Pass. I forgot about that.
like a lot of it's linked to loot boxes as far as I know. For the mobile version.
Do they run ads on mobile?
I'm not sure. Let's say if they do run ads on mobile, we're talking like in a small window that pops up.
Oh, okay.
Does
I
PUBG
wonder
Mobile have
I wonder if
ads?
some of that revenue comes from ads. I feel like that's a lot of money. Is there an untapped PUBG Mobile audience that I never knew about? Like, where do these people come from? I've never met somebody that plays PUBG Mobile.
I met one person who played PUBG Mobile, and I actually used to work with them at the post office. And like,
Was it good? Like it I've never even tried mobile.
it's actually pretty good. I mean, like I think that it's a pretty solid like mobile game. Honestly, I would say one of the
Yeah.
better ones actually. The monetization system is kind of 50-50 because, loot boxes. I mean, like Little Chillin said, loot box scamming, gotcha. I mean, pretty much that. Pretty much
Yeah.
that. Like they monetize it how they know people will buy it. And I think it does have in-game ads because I looked up PUBG Mobile advertisements, and there was like an opportunity to like have your ad placed inside of PUBG. But one of the ways
There we
that
go.
they do advertising in the actual game of PUBG. Like whenever their tournaments are going on or anything like that, they'll have billboards actually like inside of the game as you're playing,
Oh,
be
that's
like
cool.
PUBG World Championships on a billboard as you drive past, or like
Yeah,
graffitied on a wall or something like that. It's pretty cool. It's
that
it's
is
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah,
Unique advertisement for sure. I'm
and
down with that.
yeah, I would say that like as much as I hate loot boxes and like I'm not the most tasteful about a lot of the mobile gaming monetization strategies. I think that PUBG Mobile is one of the best mobile games, and it runs on a lot of phones, really decently. And they put you in bot lobbies to get you warmed up and used to the controls, and then once you hit a certain rank in the bot lobbies and you're performing at a certain level, they move you up to real players.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, at the end of the day, we've played battle royale games. Most people in here, or gamers in general, have played a battle royale game at some point. If you've ever won, there's quite a rush that comes with chasing a chicken dinner, like
Yeah,
it or
yeah.
not. You know
The chicken dinner, it's delicious, man. And when
Yeah,
you get it, you just want more.
exactly.
You
It's
always go in for seconds.
It's like a drug. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is. The adrenaline rush of being like, "Hey, I beat out 99 other people to get here. I did it." And even if you only killed one other person because you were in there prone in the bushes waiting for that last guy, and he's come through and he's had 17 kills and he's having the game of his life about to post this on YouTube, and there's you in the
That
bushes, and
poor
he should have
man.
known better. He should have
He
known
should've.
better than to just be out there moving around playing the game.
It was the
But
one mistake, man.
yeah. Yeah.
It's a shame.
And that's your chicken dinner that day, but it's fun, especially for a player who never gets the opportunity to catch something like that.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I mean, I think that, there's a lot of opportunities for mobile games out there to make a lot of money very quickly, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who are trying to cash in on this. And PUBG being an already established franchise with a developer like, I think Tencent is the one who's behind the mobile port of PUBG Mobile. I'm fairly certain. And they've got, a pretty big stock in Bluehole as well, who were the developers of PUBG originally. So there's a lot of money behind this game, so it's
Yeah.
not surprising that they're making this much money with the game. um but
Good for
speaking
them, I mean, I guess. Why not?
Yeah, no kidding. Why not? You spend all this money on it, make your money back,
It's been around for a while. Have 7.4 mil.
every day on average for
Every
the
day on
entire
average.
year
Why
of
not?
of 2020. Do you think that COVID by chance played a part in how much it made last year?
Oh, yeah. I feel like COVID has a lot to play in everything that happened last year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Specifically, the spike in gaming, which we've talked about a few times now. Like, a lot of people are at home, you know?
Yeah,
And then, like, even if you're not a gamer, it's really easy to get into, like, mobile gaming casually. So,
it most
yeah,
certainly is. And
totally.
I think that that's what our next announcement has a lot to do with, and that's that League of Legends Wild Rift released in North America this week. Have you downloaded it?
Oh, I did. I downloaded it last night.
Did you play it?
Yeah. It's pretty good. I like if I really wanted to play League of Legends that bad, I would still play it on my computer, but like it for somebody who's maybe never played League or somebody who can't be home as much or something, like it's pretty good. They transitioned it to mobile in a pretty user-friendly way, I'd say. Like it was unexpected. I thought it was going to be kind of like weird and clunky, but it's not bad.
So for me, have you played Vainglory? I think that's
No.
the other like really big mobile like MOBA game that came out before League of Legends Wild Rift. Um, I could not for the life of me like get the hang of last hitting minions on a touchscreen. I just
It's still
it felt so
yeah,
clunky.
I agree. It's still really, like, uncomfortable because I'm not really a mobile gamer, so I'm not used to touchscreen and doing all that. I would much rather get on my mouse and keyboard and play League of Legends, but it does the trick, and the last hitting definitely is kind of strange. Like, the way you do it is you just press a button, and
Mhm,
then it'll auto hit whatever's closest,
mhm.
and it also prioritizes, enemy champions. So, like, you can also direct it if you hold it and press it, but I feel like that the movement is kinda janky when you try to, like, aim stuff. I think in PUBG, or excuse me, in League of Legends Mobile, it's probably gonna be like any character that doesn't have skill shots is just gonna be really overpowered because skill shots seem kinda, like, hard.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Wild Rift is cool. I would try it. If you like League, uh, you'd probably like Wild Rift, but
okay,
I
well
wouldn't give it
that's
up for League.
that's great news to me because I don't like League of Legends, so I don't have to
Yeah,
try
then
this
you can
game.
stay away from
Perfect.
it, yeah.
Okay,
Or maybe
awesome.
you would like it more than actual League, who knows if you
Yeah, I have no clue, man. But I mean, what you mentioned about like characters who you don't really have to like target things specifically being better, that kind of makes sense to me because I remember
Yeah,
when Smite came out on consoles for the first time, obviously like there's a lot of people out there nowadays who are very, very proficient with Smite on console and can do some insane stuff, and it's like really impressive to watch them play. But Smite being another mobile game, but a third-person shooter, you need a certain level of accuracy to hit abilities. So there was
right,
definitely a meta where anybody with large area effect, big circles, anything like that, anything that's easy to do damage in a large area was the meta, you know.
right,
And like I think that this might be a similar case because it's just easier to land those big confirms on skills as opposed to really precise skill shots. So
right.
you're looking at a lot of opportunity for maybe a new meta on mobile to surface that wouldn't be on PC. And I think that's probably the coolest thing about
Absolutely.
something like this is getting a fresh way to play the game. In a slightly different environment, definitely a more casual environment.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And yeah, that completely. I could totally see the meta being just only sword characters or, like, melee characters that just have steroid abilities, you know? Like, that I think that's
yeah.
gonna be where it's going.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. And then Bizarre Buddha also said that Magic the Gathering is also on mobile now, and that apparently released sometime in March, I guess.
Ah,
So
that's
for
pretty cool.
anybody else who's a mobile gamer and likes Magic, just a heads up in case you didn't know that happened, that happened. So thank you for the shout out, Bizarre Buddha. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Um, and sure, you said Smite Mobile when they actually released two games,
Yo.
or I think that are Smite related that came to mobile phones, and both have been shut down subsequently. They had Smite Hand of the Gods, which was kind of a Hearthstone Magic knockoff that was actually pretty fun, and also Smite Blitz. Which was like a Smite auto battler that was also pretty fun, kind of like Raid Shadow Legends Smite Edition, but it was horribly optimized and like ate up your battery. So,
Oh,
um, like I think that yes, Lady Biscuit said Smite Mobile. I can be tilted
tilted on the
on the
go.
go. Yep, that's it right there. That's
Maybe
100% it.
maybe Smite devs will see Wild Rift and perhaps start pushing something in that direction. That'd be kinda cool.
Well, many of High Res's best, opportunities and projects have come, off of the birth of looking at other games and being like, oh yeah, we should definitely do that. We can make money doing that.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me
Exactly.
in the least. Um, But our topic for today, we've gone over quite a few news things, and we ended on these two specific pieces of news for a reason because today we're talking about mobile games.
Mhm.
And I mean, mobile games. I mean, in from start to finish, every aspect of mobile games, every facet of mobile games, nothing is off limits here. Mobile gaming on your phone, on the go, in your home, on the toilet, whatever it is, wherever it is that you do mobile gaming. So I mean, Kinasu said, I'm a Candy Crush Pro esports gamer. And I think
Oh,
there's a lot of people out there like that. A lot of people who were playing the games they used to play on Facebook, now they're playing them on mobile.
yeah,
And that's a mood right there.
which is interesting, yes. I'm excited to talk about mobile gaming.
So, Devin, do you play any mobile games right now? Like regularly? Is there any that you like
Regularly?
that
No.
stay on your phone?
I I mean, I have games that stay on my phone, just in case I ever have a really boring day, but, you know, for the third time, it's COVID hours, and
Yeah,
I'm, like, at home 90% of the time, and if I really have a gaming itch, I can typically just hop on my computer or whatever isn't my phone. There's nothing on my phone that entices me enough to, like, pick my phone over my PC.
yeah, no kidding. And something else to touch on, King Lucas said Lego Smite Battleground of the Gods. Lego Smite would actually be pretty interesting, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that
down
would be
for
pretty cool.
I'm down for any adaptation of mobile games. Personally, I love them. I think they're great. I'm a
I
big
think
fan.
yeah, they're interesting, and I enjoy the ingenuity of it all, but, like, if for example, like Wild Rift, if I wanna play League, I'm gonna play it on my computer, not my phone, but I understand how a lot of people might wanna like, this is an opportunity for them. People who might not have, like, a laptop to play League or a PC to play League on kinda thing, you know?
Yeah,
And I think that's one of the coolest parts about mobile gaming, is just the accessibility. Because next to everyone has a cell phone now, or and if you don't have a cell phone, you probably have a tablet. Like,
yeah,
it's just commonplace, so what
yeah.
about you? Do you play any mobile games?
The two games that I keep on my phone, I have chess on mobile and I have Hearthstone on mobile. And both of those are
Yeah.
games that I also play on my PC. It's just, like if I'm watching Netflix or, laying down watching a movie, something like that, and like Erica doesn't want me to pay attention to it right this second, because she's reading or something too, so I can get away with being on my phone. Sure, I'll just like dabble in a mobile game because like I have an overactive mind. So like being able to like do something with my hands for a little bit, just like, like keep me centered where I'm at, so I'm not like fidgeting a whole bunch. It goes a long way for me.
Yeah.
So like that, and like,
Hearthstone,
yeah,
that's a crazy one. That I love Hearthstone mobile. I think that's one of, like, the best PC to mobile transitions I've ever played on a mobile game or on a phone.
and that's why
Let
when
me be.
so many people are like Diablo Immortal is going to be terrible, I'm like, have y'all played Hearthstone on your phone? It's awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the last mobile game Blizzard released, and they knocked it out of the park. It works incredible, and like really, really incredible. It works well. So I
It
think
is really good.
Diablo Immortal is going to be awesome, and whenever that comes out, that'll be another one that I keep on my phone as long as it doesn't turn my phone into an oven. When I load it up, uh, but Little Chillin said I crush candies when I'm pooping, and I'm hoping he's talking about just playing Candy Crush on the toilet, not actually the digestive system, but it's to be determined. Um,
Crushing candies.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Candy Crush is definitely a big one. Um, and then King Lucas said it's sad how mobile games went to shit real quick. I missed the Flappy Bird era. Did you play Flappy Bird when it was out?
Yeah, I did.
Same. I played a
I
couple of Flappy
actually
Birds.
yeah, yeah, me too. I had the OG Flappy Bird, and I remember they took it on off the App Store for whatever reason, I forgot, and then I still had it on my phone, and I felt I had it on my phone for the longest time, up until, like, I had to get a new phone or something, and then I lost it, but my phone felt like a relic, man.
Yeah.
Probably
No.
sell that thing for for money.
No kidding. Lady Biscuit also said, I just play cooking games on my phone. I don't think I've ever played a cooking game, actually. The closest I got to that would have been like cooking mini games in the Pokemon games, where you like mixed your candies or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know what you're
That's
talking
like the
about.
closest I think I've ever gotten. Besides, I mean, Breath of the Wild kind of had cooking in it, but it wasn't like an actual cooking mini game. It was just like it was there. Um, but
They
I
have
mean,
Cooking Mama on mobile?
I'm sure Nintendo has some kind of a Cooking Mama app on
There
mobile.
is Cooking Mama on mobile. I
Oh
can
man,
confirm.
man. But like when people bring up games like Flappy Bird, I think of games like Cut the Rope or Where's the Water or things like that. I don't know. Did you play either of those?
I did. I played Cut the Rope.
Cut the Rope
That's the one with
was
the little green guy, right?
little like
And the
dinosaur
candy?
chompy looking guy like with like the perfectly round body.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
He's also crushing candies. They were
Yeah.
candies, right? Those little treats?
Yeah, yeah. Like they look like
Okay,
little peppermints, honestly.
yeah, something like
And
that.
they were attached by a rope, and you would cut the rope, and then you would have to like cut certain ropes at certain times to make physics happen and get the candy into the little chompy's mouth. And it
What a
was
great mobile game.
it was perfect. It was
Yeah,
perfect. It
what
was easily digestible in small doses, and it was fast and fun, and I loved it.
What
I
was the one? Did you ever play the water one with the alligator and you have
That's
to
Where's My
like
Water or Where's the
where's oh,
Water?
okay. Where
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that one was fun.
yeah. I actually mentioned that one. Yeah, I thought that was super fun too. I was a
I
big
didn't know that
fan.
was the name of it. Where's my water? I haven't even that game hasn't even crossed my mind in probably like 7 years.
Yeah, and Keen also said that they play 2048 or 2048. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. I think it's supposed to be pronounced as the number, not the year. But I actually just now I think realized what game she's talking about. But I think the version I've seen of that game is I actually saw my buddy Joe playing it. You have a whole bunch of dice at the top, and you throw the dice up, and you try to. It's almost like bubbles, but it's like dice blocks, and you have to shoot the numbers together when they match and they combine. So
Oh
two twos
yeah.
become a four, two fours become an eight, and basically, eventually, it stacks up and gets to the bottom. I think the version that she's talking about is like just combining the numbers specifically, and it's on a grid. But yeah, like the dice version looks fun because it's kind of like a combination of two games. But
Yeah. There's a lot of different variants of that 2048 type game. I've seen all kinds of stuff. I that the dice one you're talking about was the most recent one I've seen actually. Like I saw that in an ad. It was just you toss it at the cubes and they're in a tray, right? Or something like that. It's cool. I like little games like that that just can keep you occupied for a brief moment and then you move on to something else. It's like the perfect toilet game, you know?
it really is. It
Yeah,
really is, and I think that's where mobile gaming really shines personally.
on
Um,
the toilet.
yeah. As far as you can remember, what is the first mobile game that you played?
Oh man. Well, when I was I'd probably say probably one of those games you meant like Cut the Rope. That was pretty big when I like first got an iPod Touch
Yeah.
and like I remember that game. Where's My Water was another one I remember. Like I'm missing something big here. Oh, Plants vs Zombies. That was an old one I played.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of those three. I don't know. Played a lot of Temple Run. That's a good one, Erica. Thank you. Temple Run may be like one of the first actually.
The first mobile game I remember playing was on a flip phone, and like we're talking like
I'm 12.
skinny, skinny flip up flip phone. The screen didn't have color, but it was Tetris. And it was blocky, low texture Tetris. I mean, we're talking like calculator quality screen Tetris. Um
You were
and
like, yes, this is
yeah.
peak gaming right here. Just
Yeah, and I would take my dad's phone and like play on it, and it was super fun. I'm pretty sure that there was also a snake. Yeah, Little Chillin mentioned Snake, and there might have been a Snake app on there too. But I'm having a hard time remembering like what the very first one that I played was. But like the first image in my mind is Tetris, and then playing Brick Breaker on a BlackBerry would have been the other
oh
one.
yeah,
Like
I
where you
remember
slide
that
the little
too.
bar across the bottom, and it's like you're playing Pong against yourself, and you just got to break bricks over and
That
over
was
again.
especially fun on the BlackBerry because it had that little swivel thing on it, so you like it
Uh-huh.
just felt nice to move that thing around.
It did. It did. It was absolutely awesome. And I just loved playing Brick Breaker, and I would play that for hours. And it was perfect because I was grounded. So when my parents weren't paying attention, I could go, have play Brick Breaker on my dad's BlackBerry.
Break some bricks.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Um, do you guys remember that flip phone game where you had to make a tower, and every time you missed by a bit, that bit of the tower fell off and it got skinnier and skinnier? I don't think I ever played that one.
I don't remember that, but there is an arcade game I've played that's like that. You know what I'm talking about? The one where you like have to press the button. It's like the cubes.
So it's
You
sliding
press the button.
across and you push and
Yeah,
then it falls and it gets okay, okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
And
I got
then
you.
that machine specifically sticks out to me because it has the most absurd prizes in it if you win. So like there's like PS4s and new iPhones and it's just impossible. I hate that stupid game. I always get to the top and lose.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Never on mobile.
I've never played it on mobile personally, but I mean, I think that might have been where that game came from. Either the arcade game is
One or
based
the
off the
other,
mobile
yeah.
game or the mobile game is based off the arcade game, either way. But it happened.
Terrible.
Yeah. So the first one you remember playing though was what?
Dude, now that you mention it, I mean, I wasn't even thinking that far back. It was probably something like that, like Brick Breaker, some other little flip phone game. I made it to flip phone time. I'm not that young. I'm
Yeah,
young, but I remember flip phones.
yeah. And I mean, I think that there's you'll find a pretty wide range of things that people have experienced as their first mobile game, just because of how much it's blown up in that time.
Yeah.
But so, do you like gaming on your phone personally? Like your opinion, And chat, feel
I
free to
I,
chime in on this one too. But do you like
I don't
gaming on
mind
your
it.
phone?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, like, as long as the game feels good on my phone, I'm down. But, I'm not going out of my way to play games on my phone. It's more of like okay, I'm gonna be sitting on the toilet for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, I'm sitting outside waiting for a buddy. Let me go on my phone, Like it's always a I have nothing better to do kind of thing. Not really like a I want to play on my phone kind of thing. Unless it's like Hearthstone. You mentioned that. That's like the one game I've probably gone out of my way to play on my phone.
Yeah, and I mean, um, we've had a few call-outs in the chat of Jetpack Joyride and stuff like that, and I think that there's been like specific moments in everybody's life where they have liked gaming on their phone because it's just
You get mad into it. Yeah.
that quick like endorphin rush of getting a higher score on an endless runner, or getting a little bit bigger snake on your snake game, or getting a higher score on Tetris than you got before, whatever it is that you're playing. Like it's mobile gaming has kind of replaced the arcade for today's generation.
Yeah.
you know
I can see
it's
that.
it's the you take a screenshot of your high score and you send a screenshot of your high score to your friends or your group text or whatever, or you just go up on the leaderboards and you're happy about being on the leaderboards. I mean, even on PUBG they have leaderboards for that game, and I remember like watching my progress climb up the leaderboards on that, and it felt good. It feels good. It's a nice quick little endorphin rush being like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
progressing, I'm improving. It's people like that feeling, so it's excellent.
Yeah, it's cool. Do you play games often? Do you like playing games on your phone?
I would say it's a convenience thing. I
Yeah.
hesitate to say that I like playing games on my phone because I would rather play games on my Switch, but sometimes the Switch is heavier than what I want to hold. You know?
Right? Yeah, I never okay, well, I not never. I hardly take my Switch out of its dock, but I feel like it's made for that, you know? I'm always sitting at my desk when I play my Switch. I'll get into bed and I'll want to play a little game before I go to bed on my Switch, and I lay there and I'm just like, this is kind of uncomfortable. Like this thing is a little too large for me. I kind of rather be on my phone right now, I think. Like
Yeah, no kidding. Also, Olivia, thank you so much for the 1 bit. We appreciate it. You're
thank
awesome.
you.
And just a heads up for anyone who doesn't know, Magic Munchkin Olivia was a guest on the podcast last week, and she was an excellent guest. So be sure to check out last week's episode, being new to gaming and streaming, if you're
Yes.
interested in that. And for just to shout this out in the middle too, because I feel like we don't say it enough. But if you want to be a guest on the show, fill out the form. Just need a cam and a good mic.
GT app.
There it
Link is
is.
in the chat, boys
Yep.
and girls.
And like for me personally, the contrast between like holding my phone above my head playing a game and holding my Switch above my head, like that's pretty different. Like I mean,
Your arms be getting sore.
I'm like I'll be browsing Reddit at night and like I'll be starting to doze off and I'll just drop my phone straight out of my hands and into my face. And it hurts when I drop my phone on my face. When I'm holding my Switch above my head, I feel like I'm in a Saw movie.
Yeah.
It's just hanging over me. I'm just like, oh god, this could go horribly wrong at any
Like
second.
reverse planking, your arms start shaking. You
Yeah,
just
no kidding. No kidding. It's crazy. And the Switch is a pretty light console too, but sometimes you just don't want to hold the whole Switch above your face while you're,
Yeah,
getting drowsy. It's
it gets
not the
about
play.
20 pounds heavier when you're laying in bed and just you're starting to doze off. You feel it, man.
Yeah. And like I
Saw movie, that was good.
thank you. And I think that like for me personally, like I think that mobile gaming and how much I like it is based on how much it's convenient for me at the time. I don't think I ever go out of my way to choose to play a mobile game over a PC game. Whenever
Yeah.
Diablo Immortal comes out, it'll probably be the first time that happens. I think that it's not a platform that catches a lot of exclusives nowadays, so
Yeah,
have to be in a certain mindset to really enjoy the mobile game.
I agree. I think
So
that's about where I'm at too.
yeah. And you also mentioned me with a bad mic and a bad cam. If it's something that you're really interested in, just fill out the application, reach out to us, and we'll work with you on it to see if it's something that we can make happen. You know,
True.
we're really flexible and we want to work with you guys. And anyone who wants to be on here, we want to give you the opportunity. So just for anyone who's interested in being on the show, we like having cool new guests on here in any aspect.
Please, yes.
So, in your opinion, what are the best 3 mobile games you have ever played? Just top 3
Oh, okay. Well, for sure, Hearthstone.
for sure.
Let me look at my phone right now. Hang on. We
Are you gonna like go through your installed list and take a
I
gander?
have a few games here. I like Hearthstone. I have Clash of Clans has a special place in my heart because I used to play with my buddies. I still have that on my phone. And then I really like Pokemon Go. I still kind of play Pokemon Go to this day.
Hmm.
Like if I'm just out and about, sometimes I pull it up and see what's around me. And I was really hyped about it when it came out. And yeah, I think those might be my 3 favorites.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a pretty good list right there. Um, and like Pope Moisty
Talk.
mentioned RuneScape Mobile and Rome
Is
Total
that a
War.
wait, that's a thing?
Yep.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
I
Well,
actually
actually,
like old school RuneScape specifically. I think like kind of blew up on mobile as well.
I'm lying. Actually, I remember Trevor playing RuneScape Mobile for a little bit. He tried to get me on it, but I
Yeah.
don't. I tried, but it was again like I'd rather just hop on my computer and play it. If
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Big
gonna
same.
play it.
Big same. Um, and I mean, what about like League of Legends Wild Rift? Would you? I mean, Purple Spider 420 just asked that in the chat. I mean, would you put that up there as far as like best mobile games in your opinion? Because it's obviously a pretty high quality one. It's from Riot Games. They
The
put out
new
good content.
honestly, like I don't think I've played it enough to say it's like a favorite. From what I have played, I think it's very well done and I enjoy it. I don't know if it's like a favorite. I I almost even hesitate to put Hearthstone on a favorite list just because I'd probably still actually, you know what, dude? No. I think most of the time I'd rather go to my phone than play on my computer when it comes to Hearthstone. Like
Really?
seriously. Yeah. That might be the one game I would do that with. Like why go on my computer when I could play on my phone?
Yeah.
Any other situation, it's the other way around. Like why go on my phone when I could be on my computer?
Yeah, no kidding. And I think that like card games specifically lend themselves very well to that, especially a game like Hearthstone that's gone out of its way to be as simple and easy to digest as it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like everything about that game screams, we want you to be able to understand this game quickly and easily, you know? And I think that that's perfect for mobile, and that is the essence of mobile gaming is we want this to be accessible, you know? Magic the Gathering is probably a much better game than Hearthstone, if I'm being honest. Like it probably is as far as like collectible card games go. But
Yeah.
as far as just the ability to sit down and look at what you're, look at the cards and digest it immediately, Hearthstone is so simple and straightforward. Attack number, damage number, your mana goes up every turn to a maximum of 10. Hearthstone.
And everything's explained on the cards. You
Yeah.
got mana in the top left. Hearthstone is great. I love Hearthstone.
Yeah, most definitely. Um, and for me personally, like the best 3 mobile games I think I've ever played, and
Yeah.
I mean, best is kind of a subjective word. Maybe favorite would have been a better question, you know. But like for me, for sure,
Yeah.
Hearthstone is obviously on that list. If I'm saying best, I'm gonna include Genshin Impact on this list because I can't believe that runs on mobile phones.
It
Honestly,
I've never tried to run it on mobile. Is it still like hold?
yeah, it works really
Really?
well. Like
Wow,
Genshin
okay.
Impact is sick on mobile phones. And like when I first played Genshin when it came out, and I logged into the same account on my mobile phone, and I was just sitting in the parking lot at work, and I loaded it up, and I could just run around the world and do stuff, and just continue my progress from computer. That was insane. Like
And it links progress like that too?
yeah.
Oh, that's actually really
I mean,
cool.
unless I'm big stupid and I just didn't realize it, but I'm pretty sure you log into the same account. I mean, it's been a long time since I played Genshin on my phone, but I'm pretty sure I was logged into the same account making progress on the character.
Wouldn't
But like,
surprise me. That's really cool.
yeah. And the third one on my list is like as far as my favorite game would have to be Battleheart because that's kind of like where I really started getting into mobile games. I don't know if anyone played that, but it was like a really tiny like little cartoon characters. And you had a whole bunch of different classes that you could get, and you can like unlock new heroes and stuff like that as you level up. And it's kind of like auto battler ish, but you choose where you want your characters to go, and they fight monsters that come out on the screen, and then you tap their abilities and stuff like that. And you had like, you could have a healer and a tank and like DPS classes and all that stuff. And it was like I played that game for
Oh,
hours.
this looks sick.
Yeah, yeah. I think the first one that was like the OG one that I played was Battleheart, and it was free. I think it's free now.
It is free, yeah. They
And
made a legacy one that's on the App Store and it's $5. It's looks like the same thing, but it looks a little nicer.
yeah, and it wasn't a free to play game. It's always been a premium game for a small price,
Yeah.
And like back then, I was like, oh, it's not free. That sucks, because I didn't have a job. I was in like gosh, like early high school, did not have money. So like I was obviously bummed out, and I finally was able to buy it, because my parents let me, and it was so fun, dude. Like there's a really special place in my heart for that game for sure. And aside
I
from
never got to
that,
touch that one. It looks cool though. I just gave it a little check. That looks like a fun game.
yeah. And Pope Moisty said I was expecting him to drop the Raid Shadow Legends
Yeah, I
promo.
saw
No.
That's funny.
I hesitate to call Raid Shadow Legends a game. Raid Shadow Legends is a random number generator. And a like it's basically like playing slots. They might as well have it be a slot machine that you just put your money in and you spin. But at the same time, sponsor us.
That being said, yeah, today's sponsor is no.
exactly. But my third and like as far as like best game would probably be Albion Online. It's a newer-ish, not that new, MMORPG game that's like isometric perspective, and it's kind of like very RuneScape inspired. A lot of like crafting and farming and open world for like full loot PvP type game in certain zones though. There's beginner zones that are safer, but you got to go out and venture into the full loot areas to really get the good gear. And they have a mobile client for the game that you can download on their website. It's in beta right now. It's not currently released on mobile phones, but the thing that impressed me the most about this one was similar to Genshin Impact, how I could just progress on PC and progress on mobile.
Yeah.
So like when I was
like
at work
that.
on
That's
lunch,
cool.
I could load up and I could go farm some wood, or some ore or whatever else, or work on some crafting stuff and build up
Yeah.
some new gear, grind a few monsters if I wanted to, just on my phone, and I could just make progress anywhere. And it ran really well on mobile, and it was the same game,
Yeah, that's really cool. And in a game like that, where gathering and crafting is like a core mechanic of the game, I think being able to continue your journey mobily is a nice extension to the game. Like you can, like you said, on lunch, need some wood, go get some wood real quick. Then by the time you get home, you can get on your computer. You already have all the wood you need.
Yeah.
It's it's cool. I like that.
Yeah, same. I think it's awesome. I think that that's kind of, the future of mobile games is smaller scale ports, or, add-on content or something like that of PC games that you can just play on the go that give you progress other places. I think that that's where a lot of mobile is, going to be going.
I
I'm
agree.
I'm a little bit disappointed that the most impressed that I've been with Call of Duty in the last few years has been Call of Duty Mobile.
Call of Duty Mobile has a huge following that I did not know about until like a week ago.
That's
They're
because
like
it's
pretty
awesome.
high in the Twitch directory.
That's because it's actually really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I do not like Call of Duty. Call of Duty Mobile is awesome. Like for the people that want it, it's incredible. Like my buddies were talking about how they just had their Bluetooth, earphones in, and these were people at work, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we playing Call of Duty Mobile tonight." And so they all just, when they get home, take a shower, I hope, and then, like hop on the Call of Duty Mobile with their Bluetooth headphones in, they're chatting with each other, making plays and, having a good time, and they're grinding Call of Duty Mobile. I'm like, awesome. Cool. That's the spirit of gaming right there,
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny to get used to though. Like as a PC guy, it's like, whoa, people really be on their phones gaming. Like seriously, that's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, I'm more impressed with Call of Duty Mobile than I am with current Call of Duty, because Call of Duty Mobile is only ever going to be Call of Duty Mobile. They're not doing
True.
yearly releases for $60. And frankly, the content of the updates that they get on Call of Duty Mobile is better than the PC updates anyways. You know? You pay
Yeah,
every few months for your battle
true.
pass and get the cosmetics that come with that or whatever, and then you just play the game. And it's going to be there and get regular updates because it's a freemium game, and that's what I think games that get a yearly release like that should be anyways, kind of like Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's a hot take.
I mean, it shouldn't
Hot
be,
take.
but it is.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a whole bunch of people really angry out there and excited to spend $60 on Call of Duty when it comes out later this year. So, maybe it is a hot take. It is what it is. But it's just weird, man. It's just weird.
They were
In
kind of
in
weird.
in some areas, I guess mobile gaming is ahead of PC and console, you know? So,
Whoa, that's the hot take.
what's that?
There it is. Mobile gaming being ahead of PC and console.
In some ways, yeah. In some
It's
ways, I think it's
not
largely
wrong.
responsible for a lot of the downfalls that have happened in PC and console gaming. But at the same time, I think we're seeing more innovation in mobile gaming than we are on PC or console.
Yeah, I could agree with that. There's a lot of different stuff that they have to do to stay in competition, I think.
Yeah,
And like that's been both beneficial and negative towards gaming as a whole.
most definitely. Most definitely. So, what mobile game has surprised you the most, when you played it?
Hmm.
Or just any aspect of mobile gaming in general? What has really caught you off guard, or what was something that you weren't expecting from mobile games?
Funny enough, I that Call of Duty thing is probably the most surprising thing I've experienced with mobile gaming recently. Like, I was just on Twitch and I was looking through games and I saw Call of Duty Mobile in the Twitch directory and I was like, that's interesting. Let me click on that. And it was like, there's so many people playing this game. I didn't know it was like that. Like I guess to sum it up, the most surprising thing about mobile gaming is like how big it actually is. Like there's a lot of people that be mobile gaming.
Yeah, I mean, COD Mobile right now has 1.3K viewers on Twitch.
Dude, like
That's pretty crazy, honestly. Like
yeah,
there are people
from
just
right?
watching people play on their phone. Do you know
Yeah.
if people like play on BlueStacks and like with a keyboard and mouse and shenanigans like that, or with a controller or something like that? Do you know if it has controller support, or if they
I
separate the
haven't
lobbies or anything like that?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it like that.
I haven't either. I mean, I only played it a little bit, but even
They
still,
must to stream because I unless those guys are do any of them look like they're sitting there looking at their phones like this or
Oh, I'm not.
they got it.
I'm just like I was scrolling down in the directory to see like what other games were nearby it. It's actually above Monster Hunter World in the directory. It's COD Mobile. I mean, so
I
to give
saw
you
it
an idea,
really high the other day, like last like Thursday, I think it was. That's why I clicked on it because it was like top 3 rows, I think.
yeah. I mean, they might have been having like a tournament or something like that.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. Shorty said BlueStacks is most likely what they use so they can screen cap. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
that's what
don't
I
think
was gonna
most people
say.
have something linked up to their cell phone to enable them to do more with the screen capture. So, but interestingly enough, the game that's right next to Call of Duty Mobile is Pokemon Go, also at 1.3 thousand viewers. And
Pokemon Go.
Mr. Lusky said COD Mobile does have controller support, so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate it. But Pokemon Go at also 1.3K viewers on Twitch. I mean, that's crazy to me. I mean, Warframe doesn't even has 1.1K. Binding of Isaac just got a new content update, and I mean that's Rebirth specifically, but like that's at 1,000. Halo the Master Chief Collection at 941. Risk of Rain at 927. I mean, none of these are even Demon Souls, which I would think would be a pretty hot game on a regular basis. Usually the Dark Souls games stay pretty popular for a long time, but man, there's quite an audience on Twitch for these mobile games, man.
Yeah,
There really
that
is.
that's the most surprising thing to me. There is a huge audience for mobile gaming.
I
I
mean,
even
looking,
see what's that one game? Clash Royale. I see that game get up there sometimes too.
yeah. I mean, I'm looking at League of Legends right now to see if there's people playing Wild Rift on the top like area, or if that's like a separate game. But it looks like it's there's a tournament going on at the moment. That's why it's so high up there. But as far as the mobile game that has surprised me the most, I mean, it's got to be Pokemon Go.
Really?
Honestly, like
That was how so?
I am like endlessly impressed by Nintendo's ability to trick gamers into exercising.
Yeah, okay.
Like every time I'm like, there's no way they're gonna do it again. There's no way that they could possibly just bamboozle us into getting exercise when we don't want it, you know?
Don't make me walk, Nintendo. Don't
And
do it again.
and sure enough, I mean, like obviously this was before COVID, but when Pokemon Go came out, I remember going out to my local park because I was like, oh, let's go hit these Pokestops. There's a whole bunch in this one park area. And so we were going to go over there and hit all the Pokestops and catch the Pokemon because why not? And we go out there and there is hundreds of people walking around this park. And all of us are out there looking like, none of us are ready to be outside anyways.
Yeah.
And like, and everybody was walking around catching Pokemon. And I mean, I was seeing people from my work, you know, like
Yeah.
people that just like I was like I didn't even know you cared about Pokemon. And they were like I don't, but I haven't played since I was a kid. But we're playing because it's on mobile. You know
He's
what I mean?
all, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. This
walks
is the
away
most
throwing a
accessible
ball.
Pokemon's ever been for some people,
Yeah.
unless you have a hard time, throwing in a straight line or at the perfect angle to catch the Pokemon. But like Nintendo's ability to force people to exercise is incredible. I mean, DK like Jungle Beat Congo drums. That's some exercise right there.
That was, yeah.
The
You got
Ring
the
Fit game.
Ring Fit, what was it? The little pad, the Wii
Oh, the
Fitness pad, Wii
yeah,
Fitness,
yep,
right? Yeah.
yep. Wii Fitness and the Wii itself.
Yeah, the
Getting
Wii,
people
yeah,
to
it's true.
stand up, do some boxing. That was a workout. That was a real
It was.
workout. And like Nintendo does that better than anybody. And obviously, this is Niantic, so they've released games similar to this in the past. I can't remember the name of their first game off the top of my head, but they had another game that was like I think it was like a military type game. Where you can like
Wasn't it
territory
Walking
control.
Dead?
They might have done a Walking Dead game too, but hold up, let me do a
I'm
quick
pretty
Google
sure they did a
search.
Walking Dead game, but I can't remember if it came before or after.
They did a Harry Potter one, Ingress. That's the one.
Ingra, okay.
Yeah, yeah. They might be working on a Walking Dead game, or they
I
already did
swear
it, and
they
it's
did
just
it.
not showing
Maybe
up in
it's a
the list.
different. It,
But
it could be a different dev.
yeah, Ingress was the original one from them that they came out with. And I've heard a lot of people have a lot of love for that game just because it was a lot of fun. And even one of my mods, like Grinth Live, he's been on the podcast before for the MMORPG episode. He I think used to play that game with his buddies, and they'd go around and do like territory controls and stuff like that, and it's cool.
Really?
Yeah,
It's called Ingress.
Ingress, yeah,
Ingress. Okay,
Ingress.
sounds
But
interesting.
League of Legends Wild Rift does have its own category on Twitch, and it's at 10.5k viewers. It's actually above Smite.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's also above Call of Duty Black Ops at the moment. So
Jeez.
yeah, yeah,
Wild Rift.
no small feat.
Go
Mobile.
mobile gaming.
Yeah, mobile games out here being big.
Or just a league, I
Yeah,
guess. A
yeah,
league.
yeah. League is one of those things. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
Purple Spider said. But like even Garena Free Fire, which I think is another like mobile battle royale game, but I mean that's sitting at 5.7k viewers, and I believe that's a mobile only battle royale game.
Wait, what's it called?
Garena Free Fire.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a mobile battle royale game that's like meant to compete with PUBG Mobile and games like that. So it's a pretty good one too.
That
It's
sounds
kind
cool.
of fun. You can play it on PC, but only through an emulator. So, but
I'll
it's out
stick
there.
to mobile.
Yeah, pretty much that. Pretty much that.
Never thought those words would come out of my mouth.
Yep. So, in your opinion, do you think that mobile gaming is the future of gaming? Do you think that's where it's headed?
I think it would be really, really cool to have the specs of my computer in a mobile phone, but like I got I don't know how or when that would be possible. I want to say yes. I mean, I think one day maybe we will be able to have the specs of a good PC in a mobile phone, but like not anytime soon. It could be the future. Sure, why not?
For me personally, I think that the closest we're going to get to that in the near future is everything that's happening with cloud gaming.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good.
Project xCloud specifically, I mean that is how you get mobile games to look like your computer games is when it's streamed to your phone. Obviously,
Right.
there's still some issues with input delay. 5G is making strides to make that a little bit better. But at the same time, like I think that for me personally, cloud streaming is the closest we're going to get for the foreseeable future until they can figure out the cooling issue on mobile phones.
That's yeah, I was gonna say that because even now I play games on my phone, and if I go longer than 30 minutes to an hour, thing will burn a hole in my hand.
Yeah.
Thank God I have a case on it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like whenever I'm playing like any of those auto games or anything like that on my mobile phone, because every now and then I'll like download one just to see the numbers go up, and if there's like too much happening on the screen, my phone gets hot. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, and it's like, oh, come on now, this is not what I'm looking for. And like chess and Hearthstone, usually it runs pretty decently, and if I'm on a Wi-Fi connection instead of a like cellular connection, it's better. But
Right.
like, man, when we get to the point where games are starting to look really good, like Genshin Impact is already impressive because that's comparable to Breath of the Wild in scope. you
Yeah.
know um but I think that when it starts to get that place, I mean, we're going to have to figure out the cooling situation with phones. I think we might end up going back to a situation where phones are thicker again because of the like hardware that they have inside of them, and I don't know if we really have the technology to cool something off that efficiently that's as thin as a mobile phone. And I mean, my phone's looking thicker too because it has a case on it, but this is a pretty thin phone when you take it out of the case.
Yeah.
So
Mine. Well,
yeah, exactly. It's
pretty
about that
tiny, man.
size. Most
Yeah.
most phones are about that size nowadays. Um, but I think that everything they're doing with cloud gaming is absolutely incredible and like groundbreaking stuff potentially. At least as far as like turn-based games goes, I'm still not excited to play like racing, shooting, fighting games on a mobile phone over
Right.
a cloud streaming service. But like RPG games are awesome because the input delay doesn't matter that much. You don't really have to
I,
be reacting quickly or anything like that.
yeah. I agree with you. I think we've talked about cloud gaming a little bit before. I think that
hmm
even aside from mobile games, that'll be a huge step in gaming in general.
Yeah, most definitely. Um, and Purple Spider 420 asked, "Well, do you guys remember Battlefield 4 Force Commander app? It was a mobile game that worked with the current gen consoles." I do
I
not remember
remember.
that.
I remember that.
Tell me a bit about it.
It
I didn't download that.
it was just I never used it too many times because I didn't like playing Commander, but like so you if you got Commander, you could use this app to like essentially call in certain vehicles, I believe. It's been so long. I know you could set like markers to tell people where to go on your phone and stuff. It was just like a little companion of, if I remember correctly, it was just the map. It was like all that was there, and then you would tap certain things to like give your whole team a notification, like go here, go there,
Yeah,
take this, take that. It was cool.
yeah. And like as far as companion apps go, what is to your memory the best implementation of a companion app for a game?
Ooh, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
Let's say, I
Do
mean,
you
I could
have
tell you
do you have
mine right
something on
off
your
the
mind?
bat of my head. Like,
Yeah.
just real quick, Destiny Item Manager. Wow.
I never used that.
I mean, like, I mean, mind blowing stuff when I discovered the Destiny item manager exists. I don't know how many of you played Destiny, but you're constantly finding like new weapons, new gear, changing your loadout, changing what weapons you want to have equipped because you're changing your subclass to a different tree. And now your arc exotic doesn't work with your solar subclass and stuff like that. So, but your inventory space is limited. So what Destiny Item Manager allows you to do, and this isn't really a mobile game, but it's a mobile companion app for a game. So either or, take your liberty with it, whether it's being able to play a game on the go and on PC or a companion app. But like what it let you do was open up your stash and your inventory from every single character that you have, and just take your item and drag it to your current character. So you didn't
Oh,
have to,
that's
loading screen to load off the planet that you're on, loading screen to fly to the tower, loading screen to load into the tower, open up your stash, loading screen out of the tower, and loading screen to wherever it is that you were trying to go. You could just swap on the fly. And you didn't
that's
have to
pretty cool.
log out. You didn't have to do any of that stuff. It was just you just click and drag, and that's it. And it's awesome.
I feel like that yeah, that sounds super useful. I feel like what my usage of companion apps has always been kind of like why is this here kind of, you know? I feel
Yeah.
like very rarely do companion apps ever actually like offer me that convenience that they advertise,
hmm
but that sounds like it does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is genuinely the best companion app I think I have ever used.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used any companion app that's notable. Like the main things that come to mind are like that silly Grand Theft Auto 5 one, if you remember that, and then there was like, and then obviously like the Nintendo Switch, if you would consider that like a companion app, the Nintendo Online or whatever,
Oh yeah, that's
because it'll like hook up to whatever.
yeah,
Those are like the two things I can think of, and they're not even that good.
yeah. And I mean, I think that I would like to see more companies doing things like this
It's
personally.
cool. It's
You know,
fun.
like for me, I think of like World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft has a system called pet battles, which I don't know if you've ever done this,
Yeah.
but you can basically play Pokemon inside of World of Warcraft. There's a whole bunch of critters and collectible pets that you can get, and there's a bunch that are just running around inside of the game world, and you can go around and capture and battle against any of them that you see. With like maybe like 20 exclusions, of like critters that are for specific quests or something like that you can't battle with. Every other tiny critter you see, it'll have a little like paw on it. That means you can fight it and you can capture it. And you can build your team. And we're talking hundreds of pets
Yeah, there's a
with different
lot of them.
abilities and archetypes and strengths and weaknesses. It is fully fledged Pokemon inside of World of Warcraft. And these are like region specific, holiday specific, that sort of thing. And you can get a whole bunch, you know?
Yep.
And one thing that I think has always been missing is if you could do pet battles on your mobile phone, I think that'd be awesome.
That would be really cool. If
You
they
know?
like did that and changed up the art style a little bit and like kind of gave it like a
Yeah.
Hearthstone flair, that would be real cool.
Yeah. Just let me do stuff for my MMO game on my mobile phone, to progress in other ways. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be really cool.
You
But
know?
WoW, now when you mentioned WoW, WoW has a really nice companion app. I always enjoyed that one.
Just
The
letting you do your like mission table stuff.
Yeah, you could do that, and then you could do like if you were involved with the auction house, you were able to put stuff on auction,
Well, not anymore.
receive. Oh, they took that out.
Yeah. You used to be able to do the mobile auction
Never
house,
mind.
but you can't do it anymore. Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
why exactly they stopped doing it, but that would be another thing that would be absolutely awesome. I mean, you got people who are like kind of amateur day traders, with the Robinhood app on their phone, that sort of thing, like doing stocks and all that stuff. Like, let people do it in World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online or whatever game has an auction house
Yeah,
that you
that
can
was
do it in.
really cool. I wonder
Yeah.
why they took that out. I bet it had something to do with like WoW coins or something
Yeah. I
when
would
that came
guess.
out. Yeah.
I would guess a little bit too much accessibility to the auction house. Like, I think that there's something to be said for, if you want to have a real hand in the economy, having to be at your computer to do it,
Yeah, that's
you know?
true.
Like, I think it makes it a little bit too easy to, constantly be searching and sniping stuff, and like makes it hard for people who don't have, you know, 25 hours of free time every single day to compete with people who are like that,
It's true.
really really sweating it up on the money making side of things. So,
Right. I liked that app though. Like there was other things like you could talk to your guild or whatever in the app. Look at you could flex your character and take cool screenshots of them and make it your phone background.
yeah.
Like little stuff like that. It was cool. Like if you're really into WoW, it's a nice little app.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that like stuff like that could definitely be something that we see more of in the future. Is
Yeah.
mobile game implementations to go alongside of fully fledged, fully realized games.
I think that's more of the future for me. Like if anything, like I would like mobile to be more of like an accessory to console and PC than like the console itself.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. And I think that like a lot of the strength of mobile games and a lot of the staying power of mobile games has been the accessibility. You know,
Yeah.
like being able to do it anywhere is such a big deal. Being able to do it anytime. A lot of people. I mean, they've mentioned today. Oh, I did it while I was pooping. Because you can. Because you just
Because you
can.
can.
You can do it while you're laying down, while you're watching TV, while you're in the office and nobody's looking, while you're at school bored. Like mobile
Anything.
games are for everybody anywhere. I mean, it just works. You know.
Mobile gaming. Try it.
So, are there any mobile games that you're excited for that are coming out in the future? Even
I mean,
remotely interested in?
Diablo sounds cool. Diablo Immortal.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's the only one I really know of that's coming out soon.
So, Project Cars, I think, is getting a mobile port also. It's supposed to be pretty big. Are you
Oh, that's
familiar with
kind of cool.
Project Cars?
Yeah, I am, but I don't know if I'll if I'll play it on my phone.
I think we're also getting a Dragon Quest Tactics mobile game as well.
That sounds cool. That's something I might play on my phone.
Yeah, personally, I think turn-based games lend themselves very well to mobile. I think
Yeah.
that that's like kind of where mobile shines, and cloud-based gaming as well. I think for similar reasons, you don't need to be incredibly accurate with your touches to figure out how to play a mobile game, or a
Yeah.
turn-based game like that. I think that those just work better. I don't really like having to be precise with my mobile controls very much at all. I think racing games is probably the closest I get, and even then, arcade racers. A game like Project Cars Go doesn't really appeal to me. Did you play the Mario Kart game that was on mobile?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I heard it was awful.
It was
Like just
pretty
properly awful.
pretty meh. Like
Hmm.
I don't know. It was Mario Kart, but it was just weird.
Yeah. Um, truly, she's my sister. She said in the chat they just released Wild Rift, which is League for your phone. It's pretty great. We've been discussing Wild Rift a little bit earlier in the show as well. But I know you're a League of Legends player yourself. So like, as someone who's been playing League of Legends for a while, truly, how do you feel about the port that's come out? I know you said it's pretty great, but what do you like about it? Um, Also, I think there's a Warhammer MMO that came out on mobile recently that's supposed to be like okay. And I'm like, I don't know about fully fledged MMORPG games on mobile myself personally.
Yeah, that sounds like they're taking a jump a little too early, you know?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
I don't know.
I know a few MMORPGs have come out on mobile and have done decently, you know? I mean, there's obviously I talked about Albion Online, we've talked about RuneScape Mobile already, or sorry, old school RuneScape having a mobile port, things like
Yeah.
that. Games like Adventure Quest 3D that both came out on PC and mobile, and I think that there's a place for it, but it just feels so much worse to like not have as much control over your character, you know?
I'm just not huge on like you said, like anything that's not turn-based or requires some type of like movement accuracy. I don't really like on mobile. Like my opinion, I'd rather sit there and tap than have to worry about making something go a certain direction, you know?
Yeah. And for me personally, I think that mobile gaming is really at its best when it's just like short bursts of just innovative experiences,
Yeah.
Like just people being properly creative and showing you something cool and interesting. I
Like
mean,
those old games, like Cut the Rope and Where's the Water, Where's My Water or whatever. Like those
yeah,
were just simple, innovative, creative games.
yeah. And they
I
worked,
Yeah, they did.
you know? And like they felt polished and they felt clean and the animation was awesome and it was cute and fun and quick and it wasn't something that you had to sit down and dedicate a few hours to. And I think that's probably the thing that kind of detracts me from playing Call of Duty mobile or PUBG mobile or like MMORPGs on my phone, even though I've been looking for one that will just like finally keep my attention, that's
Yeah.
straightforward. Is that like I don't really want to sit and spend 2 hours or whatever playing on my mobile phone. If I'm gonna sit and spend 2 hours playing a game, I'll play my Switch or I'll play my PC,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
But at the same time, something about taking perfectly round, chubby birds, and flinging them out of a slingshot towards bricks or
And
whatever,
pigs.
you know? Like, just works for me. I loved it, you
Yeah.
know?
Sometimes they lock onto your brain for sure. Did you
And
see the
yeah, truly, I saw your response. He said, I actually like the handling of the game. I find it's a lot easier to maneuver, even over playing on PC. They also included some bonus items like they did with Teamfight Tactics. One bummer is they haven't released all the characters yet, but I think they might be doing that for promotions in the future. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they stagger the
They'll
release
get
of
there.
characters at all, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
It's
not
new.
sure how the monetization is for the mobile version, but I mean, for me personally, I could see them squeezing that for all it's worth. League of Legends on your phone. Let's find ways to make them pay for anything and everything we can. Obviously,
I think they already have a battle pass in that game.
they already have a battle pass.
Yeah, I might be
Oh,
wrong, but I'm fairly certain there was some sort of like I'll launch the game right now and let you know before we end.
yeah. Purple Spider 420 said, "Let's not forget the classic Fruit Ninja." But of course,
Fruit Ninja's very cool.
Fruit Ninja was dope enough that it actually made it into arcades. You
Right?
know,
Yeah.
like I mean, I will go in there to an arcade and I will see the massive like touchscreen Fruit Ninja that's there, and you're people trying to get higher scores and earn tickets and stuff like that, playing Fruit Ninja in the arcade, just swiping like crazy. You know,
The Fruit Ninja arcade machines are hilarious too.
I agree.
Like just the movements you're like they're giant and you just see people like yeah, they're funny. There is a battle pass by the way.
Oh, okay, got you. How much is it?
It looks like might be free. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. And then also for anyone who's here in chat and wants to like ask us any questions or anything like that, now would be the time to do it. Just a heads up, as we're kind of like wrapping up our finishing thoughts on mobile gaming in today's episode and stuff like that. So anything that you want to ask us, go ahead and shoot. But what do you think about like monetization as far as mobile games goes? Because as much as I love mobile gaming And I think it's super accessible, and that's why it's been so successful, is because of how easy it is to get into and pick up and put down, and how casual it can be and fun, and just like just kind of happy-go-lucky times. It can get pretty predatory as far as monetization goes.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've discussed how mobile gaming is probably the root of a lot of these foul practices we see in microtransactions today, you know?
Yeah,
So I think I agree with you. I think some of them are extremely predatory, specifically because I think a lot of younger people are playing on mobile, and
absolutely.
mobile, like, they don't have the mental capacity yet to be like, "Oh, this is a scam." Like,
Yeah,
I that's where I see it.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that you're right. I think that like for especially for people who don't know well enough to know that it's a scam,
Yeah, exactly.
like who's playing mobile games realistically? It's kids who've downloaded games on their parents' phone, or parents who have like given their kid their phone to be like, oh hey, do this for a little while instead. Don't don't bother me, And the
Yeah,
kids looking around and seeing all these ads for other games come up, and seeing these ads for slot machine games come up even, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. It's honestly crazy because like it's pretty much instilling the idea of gambling inside of their heads.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
with how big loot boxes are and how there's gotcha mechanics in almost every single game on mobile. Like I can't scroll through like the RPG section of mobile games without finding. I mean, we're talking like 20-1 ratio of games with gotcha mechanics versus not gotcha mechanics. Like, and I don't know if like the store is just curated that way because like the companies have paid Google for their game to be higher up in the listing or what, but this is the top listing according to the Google Play Store. So I mean that's a little like tinfoil hat at the moment, but like I don't know if you can pay for higher positioning in the store or to be on the recommended list or something like that. I don't know how it works. I don't have a game,
Yeah.
So I know that they have like an editor's choice curated list that I'm sure is actually curated by them. But as far as like, hey, this game's coming out, I'm sure they pay to have their game on that list of upcoming games that you might want to check out.
Oh, yeah.
So I think mobile gaming is easily one of the areas we've seen some of the most innovation, and also some of the most innovation in the wrong way.
Yeah, I
In
agree.
in the whole of the gaming industry, and
That's
it sucks.
Yeah, totally. I feel you. That is pretty much how I feel about it. That's how I would sum up all of our thoughts here, I think, is just most potential, and also most potential in a damaging way, and most potential in like a great way, a promising way.
Yeah,
Could be the future, could could ruin us.
yeah, absolutely. And Kinasu said my sister and two nephews play Pokemon Go together all the time, and it's so cute. And definitely, and I think that's the best side of mobile gaming. Not every family can afford a Switch right now,
Yeah.
especially with how hard it is to get a Switch right now. You know what I mean? Like it's just you see things like that where like all of a sudden everybody's got a mobile phone. So, all your little cousins can go hang out together and throw Pokeballs at Pokemon and can be excited because they just caught a Charmander. And they get to experience that. But they get to experience walking around to a park or something like that and catching a Charmander in the park, and that's incredible. You know,
Yeah, that's cool.
like not everybody likes to use the whole like AR thing or whatever and like see the Pokemon on their camera as they look around and stuff like that. But it's cool. You know, like that's the closest to a world like Detective Pikachu that we're probably ever going to get until virtual
Yeah,
reality really, really hits the mainstream, and Nintendo decides to release a virtual reality Pokemon game. Which who knows if that's ever even going to happen? You know what
that
I
would be
mean?
insane.
Like
Whoa.
we're talking about like VR would have to be a major part of the market share before Nintendo does that. I think. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that VR on Steam just hit like 3 million users or something like that. I feel like I saw something about that the other day, but like or 3 million regular users of virtual reality on Steam, which is a pretty big feat.
Pretty good.
But
Yeah.
that's a drop in the ocean of Steam,
Yeah, it is, you're right.
honestly. You know?
By the way, just for consistency's sake, the Wild Pass on Wild Rift is $10.
Oh,
You can
okay.
essentially, you can get it for 5, or for a little under $5, but the starting revenue they give you, or in-game currency they give you, is not enough to buy it, so you would have to get the $10, and then at that point, you might as well buy the $10 version,
Jeez.
kinda forcing you to
Of
buy the
course.
more expensive one.
Of course, by that point you might as well buy the $10 version. I
Yeah.
mean, they do that stuff on purpose.
Yeah, and exactly.
And I mean,
predatory practices.
Riot Games specifically is notorious for this. I mean, you talk about a game like
Valorant,
Valorant, you know, their pricing system, how it's like you can spend what
so bad.
$5 or $10 or $30.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's not a $20 option, I think, or something like that.
They're missing most of their skins fall between like a $10 to $20 range.
Yeah,
So like any skin that's under 15 bucks, there's no any skin that's between 10 and 15, there's no $15 option. So what you have to do is buy the $10 and then the $5 instead of buying the 15. Like they're obviously trying
yeah,
to get one over on you, you know?
yeah. Most definitely. King Lucas said, "Innovation is innovation. It only depends on how you use it," and that's very true. I think that we've seen a lot of mobile games use it well, and we've seen a lot of mobile games use it poorly. You know, you talk about games like Raid Shadow Legends, where they pretty much show you constant incremental progression over and over again until a certain point. You know, and it's usually about the, we'll say, 5 to 25 hour mark, depending on which game you're playing. But eventually you hit that point where it's like, okay, you don't have to pay, but assuming that you want to see progress anytime within the next like 6 years, you should pay. And they started out small. They're like, look at all the bonuses you can get with this one-time pack for $5. But then the next time that you have to pay to get all of the stuff that was in that one-time $5 pack, I mean, you're looking at spending $25 to get just the stuff that was in that one-time pack. But it was a one-time pack to try to show you, to give you a taste of what you could get. You know what I mean?
Whack.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy, dude, because that's how they get you. You know, they condition you for so long to be like just hooked on these like small incremental rewards until they can get you to the point where you're like, hey, you know, I've spent as much time on this anyways. Let's buy the pack. So you don't think about
Yeah.
it. And then you're like, oh, look at all this awesome stuff I got from the pack. You know, like I don't want to play the game without these things. So now you're buying them all the time.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like if you're really playing a game that much, it it might be worth it, you know? But I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. One game that's bad is Dragon City or any games like that. I'm not too familiar with Dragon City, Purple Spider 420. It sounds like a city management game though. And for me personally, like when I've played like mobile games in the past, I steer clear of any city management game. Because when you look at a game like that that's got like buildings that you have to build or anything like that, like I don't like anything that has timers associated with it. That's probably the biggest thing that turned me off of games like Warframe 2, is you go and you start a project and it's like, okay, now wait for, you know, a week and a half for you to be able to get your sword that you just started crafting right now. And so when I hear Dragon City as the title, I'm like, they're going to make me wait to build buildings. And at first it's going to be like 20 seconds to build a building, and then it's going to be like 3 days to build a building. And by that time I will have already uninstalled the game. I just could not be less interested in that.
Talking about Warframe? Yeah.
Touched on Warframe, but he mentioned Dragon City.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think all those games like that have like, oh hey, pay to speed up this, you know, progress. Pay real money to buy gems to speed up the progress of this building.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Warframe was like that in like a major way. That's
Yeah.
kind of like why I stopped playing Warframe.
Yeah.
I picked it up during summer like 2 years ago, and I got to a point where things were just taking like weeks to up whatever create or whatnot, and I was like, man, I don't want to wait that long.
Yeah. Most definitely. And King Lucas said there should be simply a like currency conversion instead of buy X amount of gems for X amount of money. So you're saying like make the price of an in-game item static across, you know, the economies and have it fluctuate based on, you know, whatever your currency conversion rate is. Like basically have a set dollar amount, you know? So let's say something costs $5 here, it would cost whatever, $7.50 in Canada. I don't know what the conversion is, and like a few less euros in the EU due to currency conversion rates. But basically then you just pay the dollars for it. But the thing is, like that's how a lot of these companies get you, is
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you know, this is only, you know, 600 gems, and you can get one thing for 600 gems, and 1,000 gems is $10. So you spend the $10 and you have 400 gems left over. But the cheapest thing that's in the store is 600 gems.
Rude.
So then you have to buy more gems, you know, and that's how they keep you spending money. They don't
Hate
tell you
that.
that, you know, because they don't want you to know that. But that's the goal there, is to
That's the
purposefully
Riot
give you just a
special.
little bit less, so that way you're like, screw it, it's just $10 more, right? Which, I mean, when I was younger, I was like, oh, that's $10 more. We can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
I was
yeah,
sweating $10 when I was 15. But now,
exactly.
you know, $10, I mean, that's how much you'll pay for lunch at a fast food place nowadays, you know?
Right.
So some people are like, $10, no issue. We'll spend the $10, you know? It's crazy. If you change like $5 into South African currency, you can get a 20 buck pass in that region. Well, there you go. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should all be relative to like where your location is, obviously, but like, it's it's so predatory. Like mobile gaming is perfectly positioned to be accessible to everybody and like make you want to spend money on it, but at the same time, you're getting so little actual value for what you're paying for.
Yeah,
And I think that's one reason that mobile gaming won't ever be the only future of gaming, is
I agree.
because there are still people out there who are like, I am not getting much enjoyment out of this. It's just like slightly stimulating my brain. Like
Kind of where
mobile.
I'm at with it. Like I'm not too wild about playing on my phone, honestly. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just wait until I can get on something else.
Yeah, exactly. Like I will browse like news articles and Reddit and stuff like that before I,
Yeah.
we'll go to mobile games typically. I have to be in a really specific mind space to be like, okay, let's play something on my phone. You know?
Yeah, me too.
Kinosu also said and make the most expensive one 50% more value for the money. And yeah, this is something that we've seen a lot of companies doing, Riot Games included, with Valorant specifically. It's like the top tier of whatever you can buy. It's like, oh, you get this percentage extra for free based on the very base level conversion, you know?
Yeah.
But realistically, they could have just made every single tier of whatever, gems, coins, currency, in game, whatever you can buy, cost the same amount relative to how much you're spending, you know? Because realistically, the value of whatever it is that you're buying, okay, is valued at whatever the most expensive version of that can be. So basically, you're getting punished for spending less money every time that you
Yeah.
spend less money. Because, like, whether you like it or not, the value of that item, is whatever it should be at the top end. So that's like when you buy Smite gems for $100 for 8,000 gems or whatever is like a one that's easy for me. It goes on sale sometimes for 66, but the typical price is 100 for 8,000 gems. They're like, you get 4,000 bonus gems. No, you don't. You get 8,000 gems. That's how much it costs for 8,000 gems. Just because you purchase the lower tier ones because you don't want to drop $100 on cosmetic items right now, that's fine. But it's $100 for 8,000 gems. That's how I look at currencies like that, because they only do that to try to trick you into thinking you're getting a bigger bonus. And the way
That's a
that's
good way to think about it. I
yeah,
that like cuz that I mean that is what it is. That's smart. Like you're just not letting yourself get 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 scammed by the big boys.
exactly. And my least favorite thing about like high res's monetization model specifically is like when you're looking at buying Smite gems, they do have an option for like, I think it's $5, $10, like, and then it's like 20, and then like 35 or something like that, or like 20 and 30. And the jump is like you can either get 1,500 gems or 2,500 gems. And it's like a $10 difference, but it's a $10 difference each time. So it's like you look at how many more gems you're getting in the next tier up, and you're like, man, if I just spend 10 more dollars, and you just spend, just 10 more dollars all the way up to $50 where you're getting like 3,500 gems, you know? But it's just
10 more
$15
dollars.
more than the previous tier, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like in your head, you can quickly trick yourself into like, oh, it's just a few more dollars. I'll just buy more now. I'll use them eventually, right? You know. But that's
Yeah.
that's that's how it's designed to get you. And all of that started with mobile games. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. King Lucas said, if Google Glasses ever became big, augmented reality would have been larger. You walk across the street and just see a Pokemon there, and you decide if you want to take out your phone and throw a ball at it. I mean, if it's really augmented reality, like, wouldn't you be able to like do something else besides use your phone with the Google Glasses? I mean, I don't
Could
know.
actually just look at your hand and squeeze and a Pokeball comes up and then you throw it over. I don't know. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could see something like that in the future for sure. You know, I mean, if we end up getting like haptic feedback gloves, like some people are trying to work on for virtual reality stuff, you know?
Everyone wears gloves.
Yeah, I mean, like
We're all just glove wearing people now.
I mean, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing about technology. You know what I mean? Just walking
No, it
around and
wouldn't.
being able to interact with stuff out in the world. You walk up to a store with your Google Glasses on, and you look inside of the window, and then on the window of the store, there's a catalog. So you pull out your glasses and you're scrolling through instead of having to go inside the store. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
I
Time to
mean,
put on the gloves. The gloves stay
just
on,
thinking about
boys.
practical implications, you know, or for Pokemon Go specifically, you walk around, there's a Pokemon, you look down, and there's the Pokeball, and you throw it, and that's it. You know, you
I
walk
like
up, you see
the
someone
store
else,
thing. That's cool.
or like you know, if you could like have your Pokemon walking next to you, and you walk around, you see someone else with their Pokemon walking next to them because they also have the Google glasses on, and you battle.
Yeah. You lock eyes.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's the stuff I'm talking about. You know, like the implications for mobile gaming is incredible. You know, I just think we need to take it a little bit farther.
Yeah, that's a I like that. That would be really cool. The Pokemon example kind of made me excited.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's after seeing the Detective Pikachu movie, dude. Like I re-downloaded Pokemon Go for the first time in like 2 years. You know, or what, however long it had been since like the big Pokemon Go boom. You know, because just like seeing Pokemon out in the world like that, like in a cinematic environment, obviously it's a movie that you're watching, but like seeing Pokemon in the real world like that, like the idea of that is incredible. You
Yeah, that
know,
was cool.
and I think that the only way that happens is like wherever the middle ground is between augmented reality and mobile gaming. As soon as that becomes accessible to everybody, I think that's where it hits. Personally, I think that's
I'm
going to
excited.
be
I hope we see it, man.
awesome. I mean, or
I want to see
similarly,
it.
you know, AR augmented reality like MMO game in the same vein as Pokemon Go, where you go out to certain locations and you fight monsters. So like, according to your augmented reality glasses, when you have the game loaded up on your phone that it's linked to or whatever, you look down and you see your gear on you,
Whoa,
and you
dude.
look over and
That
you
would
see
be
someone
crazy.
else with gear from the same game that you're playing on them. So you
And
could
then
go
you
party
LARP.
up and do stuff, you know,
Yeah.
with other people just out in the game world. You know what I mean?
Go up to a tree in real life and start hitting it with an axe.
Yeah.
Collect some wood, raise that wood cutting skill.
Yeah, no kidding. Like stuff like that would be awesome. I mean, could you imagine if RuneScape had like an augmented reality go out in the world and like actually farm things?
You're just actually being productive while playing a game. That's gonna be like that's gonna be the future because that's what it's gonna take for everyone to like get up and be productive again. Like
Oh yeah, and I mean,
they're gonna be all we need to go out and farm. Go raise your farming skill in the backyard really quick, and this dude's gonna go out and it's gonna be like a game, but he's actually farming. That's wow.
settlers nearby need your help. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, wow.
um, but Purple Spider 420 also mentioned Hearthstone with Google Glasses, where you see the creature you play. I mean, being able to go like sit down in a diner or something like that and look down at the table and play with the person across from you,
That would be cool.
you know, or like look up and see an avatar sitting across from you at the table, and you can just like play the actual Hearthstone game on the table, and like the board comes up like out of the table in your AR glasses and stuff. I mean, it'd be awesome. It'd be incredible. Like
Are
there's
you
so many opportunities here, you
are
know.
you getting me excited for something that doesn't even exist yet? Ah,
But I mean, that's how good ideas are born, dude.
let's
You
get
know,
there. Let's get there.
new quest: shop at the supermarket dungeon. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And
running errands. Just a really cool way to help you be more productive.
ooh, King Lucas also said, of course, a multi-purpose AR warehouse, a white building that changes based on your current AR. Could be a Pokemon gym, could be a dungeon, whatever.
Ooh.
And I mean, I would not at all be surprised to see things like that spring up in the event that AR has a boom like it does. You know, you go
Yeah.
somewhere and it's got like a whole bunch of static buildings that like the format is the same. You know, like assuming that Google actually takes off with this. I mean, they're probably the closest company I could see having the money to pull off something like this. But like set up Google AR warehouses in places where the layout is always the same, you know, and it's basically a template, you know? And you go
Yeah.
in there and there's things that are supposed to be shops in whatever game you're playing. There's things that are supposed to be like dungeons in whatever game you're playing, you know? And like you go in and whether you're in medieval times, there's a tavern on your right. And there's, you know, like a armor smith on your left. And there's, you know, like a quest hub over there, like in the back. But then you go in there in a military game and you know there's a gun store and there's you know like the barracks and there's you know other things like that. Could be awesome.
Fair.
Pokemon Center, the gym, you know.
Whoa.
There's opportunities out there for gaming on the go, you know. Like I genuinely think that mobile gaming is probably where we're the most likely, aside from virtual reality, you know. Mobile gaming is where we're most likely to see the biggest innovations in the future as far as gaming goes, you know. Because right now Consoles and PC, they're like, let's make the graphics better, and that's what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And cool, super cool. But I mean, that's only so interesting for so long. I think
Give me AR.
yeah, I think the novelty of graphics wears off really quickly.
Yeah, I
Personally,
mean that graphics have never been a I I I'll take a really artsy, cool indie style over some like near realistic game any day.
yeah. Kane also said, "Smite Go, baby." Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of inevitable that games like this get a mobile game. As soon as like enough of the market share has a phone that can run games like that, done, easy,
Sure.
easy. I think that's why it took so long for Genshin to hit mobile, or for a game like Genshin to come out on mobile. Is because they needed to have enough people with the technology to run the game for it to be profitable, basically.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I mean, I don't know, man. I think I'm excited and also nervous, because like nothing would be more annoying than actual ads popping up in front of your face in augmented reality in the middle of whatever game you're trying to play because it's free to play.
That would be the scary part. That would be the unfortunate lame part of it. And then you have to pay like a subscription to never get ads.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It'd
Uh,
be the worst. It really
yeah.
would. Um, and King Lucas said, I still want full dive VR. Personally, I don't. I think augmented reality or just virtual reality is probably the closest I want to that. I don't want to feel the impact of getting hit by a mace by enemies. Okay, like that does not sound fun. Um, like I just full dive sounds cool in theory. Oh, and the ads are 110% volume. Yes, but of
Yeah.
course, Toby. But of course, because they have to be, because you have to hear the ads. It's like when you're watching a TV show and they're all quiet and talking to each other, and then the commercials come on and they're like, like just like the loudest music ever,
Yeah.
like in your
And then
face.
you're walking around with people who are playing AR and you can like hear their commercial through the like
Yeah,
you just ruined your immersion completely.
yeah. You're out there fighting monsters, and there's someone else just like stuck standing completely still because they have to stand there and watch an ad for a second. They can't move from where their character's positioned. Yeah, yeah. Very fun. Trulia came in and said, just saying, do not recommend Black Desert Mobile. Just play it on PC. Why not? If you don't mind me asking. Just
Um,
genuinely curious about that. But
I don't want to feel like I'm getting shot. No thanks.
yeah, exactly.
Full dive.
Yeah, full dive virtual reality is terrifying to me. I don't want to feel those things. I don't want to know that's happening. And as far as like the graphics comments go, like I think that the last time I genuinely cared like about graphics specifically was when I was like full Sony fanboy mode right before the release of the PlayStation 4. You know, and the PlayStation 4 was like way like was graphically better than the Xbox One. That was the last time I genuinely cared about graphics. And I've come such a long way since then. Like I don't even care. Like play whatever console your friends are playing on, and whatever console has the exclusives that you care about, and that's it.
Yep.
Nothing else matters. Either way, it's all going to
Agreed.
look worse than PC. So who cares? Like there's nothing you can do to fix that, But yeah, that's my opinion on that one.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I think this has been a pretty cool episode, dude. Let's say
I agree.
we got to hit some nostalgia. We got to hit some like future theory crafting.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Had a few awesome ideas come up, and I think that mobile gaming isn't going anywhere,
I don't. Yeah, no,
to say
not
the
anytime
least.
soon.
Definitely not anytime soon. I don't think that there's any way that mobile gaming is going to die. Everybody's got mobile phones. Everybody wants to make money. As long as those two things stay the same, mobile gaming is here to stay. I'm
Woohoo!
excited for where it's going, somewhat, and also kind of nervous about where it's going. But
Weary. Yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, there's always going to be opportunities for someone to make money quickly or do something new or innovative, and hopefully not with predatory practices involved, which is where we've seen mobile gaming kind of start to spring up the most.
Yeah.
So
I have faith in you, mobile gaming. You're cool. Just don't botch it.
please don't watch it. So for
Uh,
anyone out there who wants to be on the show, we want you to be on the show. We are Gaming Tonic, and if you want to fill out an application, there's a link right there. You can just throw up a GT app in the chat anytime that you're here. If you're a streamer, if you're a content creator, if you are a person with an interest in video games, you have a mic and a webcam, we want to work with you fill out the application to be on the show. Next week, I believe our guest is going to be I'm Sniper Killer. We reached out to him and we're waiting to hear back from him. I'm not sure if he hit us back up yet with a yes or a no definitively, but he is also another streamer who's also like a awesome content creator, great guy. He used to do a podcast of his own, but had to like stop it because him and his co-host had like scheduling conflictions or something like that. So he's pretty familiar with it. I've listened to him a couple of times on his podcast, and he's a pretty cool guy. So be sure to check out the episode next week. We'll be posting an announcement if he's going to be on there at some point. And then also, for anyone who wants to, send us an email. We want to hear from you guys to gamingtonic1@gmail.com. Send us questions, concerns, thoughts, topics you want to hear about, anything you want to hear us discuss, anything like that. Just throw it right there in the email. We are excited to hear from you guys and get mail.
Email.
And also, of course, don't forget to hit up our socials right there with a GTS in the chat. You can follow us on Twitter or the official Gaming Tonic Pod Twitter page right there. And for you, Devin, for anyone who wants to get more your content, more of your excellent Twitch streaming or YouTube services, where can they find you at?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/DevinCronk, spelled exactly how it's spelled below, DevinCronk, or on Twitter, same thing, but with 2 Ks. And then in my Twitter bio, there's links to all my stuff, my YouTube, my TikTok, my Instagram, all the goodies.
Awesome.
How about you, Vince?
Well, for anyone who's here watching the channel, obviously you can find me pretty much Tuesday through Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I wasn't live yesterday because, like I said, I was spending some time with my wife because it was her last day of spring break. But twitch.tv/justvince is where you can find me usually on Twitch. And then at Vince0094 on Twitter. If you want to support me there, you are more than welcome to drop a follow, see what's going on with me during my week. And we are good to go.
Okay.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add in, shout out, mention before we close?
I think I'm good, man. It was a good episode. I feel fulfilled.
Same. I think we did what we set out to do most excellently. Kinasu said, lovely listening to you guys. Yo, thank you so much for the kind words. We appreciate it. You're the best.
Hearts.
You're the best. Lovely having you listen to us, honestly. We appreciate every single one of you who has continued to come out and support the show, listen to the podcasts, anything like that. Any of our listeners, any of our viewers, y'all are incredible. We really do appreciate you. You guys are the reason why we do what we do. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you will be with us next week to enjoy our next episode with hopefully our guest, I'm Sniper Killer. If not, we will be having another guest on the show. And thank you guys so much for being here. As always, have a fantastic rest of your week and take care.
Bye. Go.